but there's nothing you could tell them. Just made a million, got another million on my schedule. No love for 'em, they could break it hard. No keys, push to start. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah, screaming that's nothing. When I pulled up, I'm like a yellow.
Hello everyone, here I'm Nadia Sharani and my friend Seprina Aulia Putri will discuss the SPM optimization problem. Introduction. In machine learning, particularly in classification, a hyperplane is used as a starting tool to divide data into two different classes. A hyperplane is an and satu dimension space within an n-dimensional space that split this space into parts. In support vector machines or SVM, the hyperplane function to separate positive and negative class data with the goal of maximizing the margin, which is the closest distance between data points of two classes to the hyperplane. Why choose the optimal hyperplane? 1. Generalization ability. An optimal hyperplane helps the model perform well not only on new data or training data, but also on new usage data or testing data. This is known as the model's generalization ability. Maximizing the margin makes the model more robust, variation, and noise in the data. 2. Minimizing overfitting. By choosing an optimal hyperplane, the risk of overfitting can be reduced. Overfitting occurs when the model follows the training data too closely, including noise and outliers, which result on poor performance on new data. An optimal hyperplane which maximizes the margin tends to be simpler and more general, making it more resistant to overfitting. 3. Separation of classes. An optimal hyperplane ensures that the classes in the data area maximally separate, reducing the likelihood of misclassification. This hyperplane is designed so that data from different classes have the maximum distance from the hyperplane, minimizing overlap between different classes. 4. Efficiency in computation. SVM with an optimal hyperplane is often more computationally efficient, especially when implemented with the kernel trick to handle nonlinear data. This means the model can handle high-dimensional data without requiring excessively high computational choice. 5. Visualization example. Imagine you have two classes of data in a two-dimensional space that can be sparked by a start line. The hyperplane in this case is the line that sparks the two classes. Choosing the optimal hyperplane ensures that the distance between the closed point from both classes to the separating line or hyperplane is maximized. So, the data from both classes are clearly and distantly spot. This is why the model is better able to classify new data with high accuracy. How can we compare two hyperplanes? Because we cannot choose the optimal hyperplane based on our feelings, we need some sort of matrix that will allow you to compare two hyperplanes and say which one is superior to all others. In this section, we will try to discover how we can compare two hyperplanes. In other words, we will search for a way to compute a number that allows you to tell which hyperplane separates the data the best. We will look at methods that seem to work, but then we will see why they do not work and how we can correct their limitations. Let us try with a simple attempt to compare two hyperplanes using only the equation of the hyperplane.
Next, here is an illustrative example to compare two hyperplanes. Imagine we have two hyperplanes, hyperplane A and hyperplane B, that spreads the two classes of data. Hyperplane A to have margin to void 0 and number of support factor 5, accuracy 95% and event score 0.94. And hyperplane B to have margin 1.5 and number of support factor 8, accuracy 92% and event score 0.90. Well, in the example, hyperplane A has a larger margin, fewer support factors, and better performance metric compared to hyperplane B. Therefore, hyperplane A is considered more optimal. Then, to compare to hyperplane, we can use the hyperplane equation. Given an example, x, y, and a hyperplane, we wish to know how the example relates to the hyperplane. One key element we already know is that if the value of satisfies the equation of a line, then it means it is on the line. It works in the same way for a hyperplane. For a data point and a hyperplane defined by a vector W and base P, we will get W exerts x plus B sum as 0 if it's on the hyperplane. But what if the point is not on the hyperplane? Let us see what happens with an example. This is already a picture. From the picture, the line is defined by W sum as mean 0.4 mean 1 and B sum as 9. When we use the equation of the hyperplane, the first for point A 1 3 using factor A sum as 1 3, we get W exerts A plus B sum as 5.6. And then for point B 3 5 using factor B sum as 3 5, we get W exerts B plus B sum as 2.8. And for point C 5 7 using factor C sum as 5 7, we get W exerts C plus B sum as 0. Yeah, as you can see, when the point is not on the hyperplane, we get a number different from 0. In fact, if we use a point far away from the hyperplane, we will get a bigger number than if we use a point closer to the hyperplane. Another thing to notice is that the sign of the number returns by the equation tells us where the point stands with respect to the line. Using the equation of the line displayed in figure, we get the first 2, 5, 8, 4 point A, 3, 5, and then 0 for point B, 5, 7, and mean 2, 5, 8 for point C, 7, 9. If the equation returns a positive number, the point is below the line, while if it is a negative number. Then, optimization problem formulation. Nah, for optimization, here there are two. The first, in the unconstrained optimization problem. Nah, the goal of an optimization problem is to minimize or maximize a function with respect to some variable x. That is, to find the value of x for which the function returns its minimum or maximum value. Now, for instance, the problem in which we to find the minimum of the function f(x) sum as x squared is written minimize fx or alternately minim fx. Nah, in this case, we are free to search amongst all possible values of x. We say that the problem is unconstrained. Now, as we can see its figure, the minimum of the function is 0 at x sum as 0. And then the second constrained optimization problem. Nah, di sini ada single equality constraint. Nah, in general, constraints are written by keeping 0 on the right side of the equality, so the problem can be written minimize fx. Nah, subject to-nya x minus 2 sum as 0. Using this notation, we clearly see that the constraint is an even function, while the objective function f is a quadratic function. Thus, we call this problem a quadratic optimization problem or a quadratic programming or QP problem. As we can see in figure, because of the constraint x min 2 sum as 0, the minimum is 4. In the SVM optimization formulation, there are geometric margins and functional margins. First, margins geometrics. The geometric margin is the distance between the hyperplane and the closed data point from a class. Nah, it measures how far the nearest data point from its class is to the hyperplane. The larger the geometric margin, the better the hyperplane spreads the data. The second margin functional margin is the value calculated from the model's prediction at a given data point. It reflects how confident the model is about the prediction for the data point. The next is to solving the optimization problem. Now here there is a flowchart of the optimization process. First, start. The first step is to initiate the process with a labeled dataset. 2. Problem formulation. Define the quadratic objective function and linear constraints based on the dataset. 3. Quadratic programming. Solve the optimization problem using a quadratic programming method. 4. Optimal solution. Obtain the optimal Weight factor and bias for the SVM model. 5. Model evaluation. Evaluate the model to classify data and evaluate its performance. And 6. Finish. The optimization process is complete and the model is ready for prediction or on new data. This flowchart provides a clear overview of the steps involved in solving the optimization problem to find the optimal hyperplane in SVMs.
Conclusion. The geometric margin is the distance between the hyperplane and the closest data point from each class. It measures how far the nearest data point from each class is to the hyperplane. The larger the geometric margin, the better the hyperplane separates the data.